you know how to just beat a joke like a dead horse.
I was trying to see if it's going to catch on, if it's a thing.
Milking the cow?
Yeah.
Is that like it's going to like replace the twist from
Maybe.
like from the 50s?
You never know.
When was the twist? Is that the 50s? That's got to be a 50s dance.
Yeah, it's 50s.
So now since you're in your 50s,
yes,
you're evolving the dance.
Look, I'm just the dumbest things catch on. You never know when someone's going to see that and go, that's something. And you think it's the dumbest stuff going.
If that's what catches on from this show, we should quit. This is what it is.
Valid.
Yeah. We actually have a call-in this time around.
Great.
Yeah. It was a direct message on our Instagram.
Wonderful.
Which is perfect. It's a voice. It's not a video, but it's a voice, so we can still play it on the thing.
On the thing.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Unless you want to just dive right into it, because we haven't had a caller in a minute. You want to just dive right into it?
If you want to. I have to say.
Do you have stuff to discuss?
The only thing I was going to say on what you were saying there about the listeners, and we may have gotten more because we went on 2 days early.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing that trend of people listening on the audio. They haven't caught on entirely to the YouTube side.
Right. So if you're listening to this and you've been like, why are you talking about facial features? Or
are we?
Why are you talking about facial expressions?
Or milking the cow.
Or milking the cow. You don't know how good of a milker Mo is until you watch the full episodes up on YouTube.
I am a farm boy in some ways, so
You're something. You grew up near a farm.
Right next to it, yeah.
That's something. That's as close as you. Did you ever like milk a cow on that farm?
I milked a cow.
On that farm?
I'm trying to remember.
How old were you when you milked your first cow?
Probably 8, 10, somewhere's in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Dad said, "Go milk that cow. Go learn how to do it." Okay.
Go milk that cow. See, that wasn't in the eulogy.
No,
that should have been there.
Go
One
milk
of my
that
fondest
cow.
memories is when my dad just nudged me to go milk a cow.
You do what you got to do.
This one time when I was 8.
Do what you're told.
Turn off the. What do they call the television back then? The tube? Was it the boob tube?
It was a boob tube.
Did your dad say the boob tube?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
all the time.
Turn off the boob tube and go milk that cow.
No, we were at a farm, and he said, "Why don't you go milk that cow?" I said, "I don't know how." And he said, "Well, go figure it out." So somebody showed me, but I didn't just have to figure it out.
Throw that kid into the fire. Get that kung fu grip and go, Mo.
It worked. I did
it. It worked. And did you save the milk? What did you do with the milk?
No, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. You mentioned I'm in my 50s. That's a long, long time ago.
Just like that song.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, it's good though. I think people are going to catch on to the video. The reels are doing exceptional.
Reels are doing well.
I don't know what TikTok's doing. That's your world. Are people
It's
watching
doing
it?
well.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Okay. Yeah. So we're doing the thing.
I would love for us to get more people watching the YouTube. That's all.
Yeah.
So watch the YouTube.
Go watch the YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to hurt these numbers on the podcast app. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, see, so it's funny because podcasts started as like an alternative to radio. It was an audio format.
Correct.
And then people are now doing videos of their podcasts, and the videos are actually what's doing a lot of the work.
What's so strange about that whole industry is they never change. Normally, they'd change the name.
Yes.
But podcast just became podcast.
Yes.
So it's from via audio or video or whichever.
I can't explain it.
It's right there.
I don't know what it is, but so yeah, we have a message.
Yeah, let's hear it
on our Instagrams.
Instagrams.
So we're gonna dive right in, and I hope it's a good one.
I hope. We haven't heard from Liz in forever. She'd
She
call the phone though.
She would. She did mention that the last several times we've mentioned her on this show, we've berated her.
Aw.
So that's why she's not calling in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, we miss you, Liz. Come on back. But anyway, this is from Peter. This is a message from Peter.
Okay.
And I actually like the Instagrams because it tells you who it is. It's not just a random phone number.
Okay.
So this is from Peter.
All right. Peter.
Thanks for calling, Peter. Oh, I guess let me thank him after. It might be a Liz caliber call. I don't know. Let's see.
You mean quality?
Question for you guys. My buddies and I were talking about it the other night, and we were debating who are the most important / influential people of all time. My list is Robert Oppenheimer, MLK, Winston Churchill, Napoleon, and Columbus.
Okay.
With an honorable mention to Gutenberg. What are your guys' thoughts here? Thanks.
Steve Gutenberg's an
Steve,
amazing
I was just
actor.
gonna. I see. It's the low hanging fruit right there.
It is.
We were both gonna go right there. Thank you for calling us from. It sounds like an Amazon warehouse.
It did sound very
maybe
busy.
a commercial kitchen.
Very busy. But
I don't
good
know.
for you,
but
Peter.
this is a great question. This could take up a long time.
It could.
Oppenheimer, sure. Although, would you have said that if the movie didn't come out? Who knows? Don't
Who
know.
knows?
Don't know.
I
MLK.
probably wouldn't have.
MLK's great. Good answer.
MLK is a good answer. Safe answer, if you will.
Yeah. Napoleon, Churchill. Okay.
Napoleon, though, I can't say as I dive in board with it. I don't know if he's the most impactful leader.
Well, the
Did
question.
he say positive impact or did he say impact?
It just said influential.
Influential.
Yeah, I think was it influential? Hold on, we got to go back.
All right, go back.
We were listening, Peter. Let's
Question for you guys.
Words matter.
My buddies and I were talking about it the other night, and we were debating who are the most important / influential people of all time.
Okay.
Okay, important / influential.
Okay.
So that's broad.
Incredibly broad.
That's broad because I mean, one could argue Hitler number one. You could argue
one of the most influential human beings.
Yes, he influenced history. He influenced a lot of people.
Right.
You know, there's a lot. No. I'm going to stick away from Hitler being my answer, though.
It's probably a smart choice.
Yeah. My mind goes to the Edisons, the Teslas, maybe Sir Isaac Newton, although, like, if the apple didn't fall on his head, it would have fallen
Somebody
on someone
would have
else.
discovered gravity.
Well, so that's why he said Columbus. No. Someone would have discovered. First of all, he went the wrong way.
Right,
So
he
it's
was
like
lost.
the big discovering America from Columbus is the biggest mistake in history, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, everything's a story. We're not in the moment to know it. So
But it was a
we're in
mistake.
the understanding of it now.
But he thought he was going around
thought
Cape
he
Town
was.
to get, but he didn't. He didn't know where he was going.
Sometimes you find the greatest things when you're not looking for them. There's a tip for the day.
Okay, good.
So I agree. Maybe Edison, Tesla didn't have as much of an impact, though brilliant minds. Like Einstein's a brilliant mind. What
Einstein,
impact did
yep.
he necessarily have? It's there, but direct impact to multiple people. You can say like a Steve Jobs has an incredible impact
Yes.
on almost every American, as long as they don't have that green bubble pop up on their phone.
You hate the green bubble. You hate it.
We all hate the green bubble. Let's
I mean,
be
I don't
honest.
mind it that much.
We don't like the green bubble.
You really hate it.
I don't like the green bubble. But I'm saying, how many blue bubbles are there out there?
There's a
That's
lot of
all.
blue
That's all
bubbles.
Steve Jobs.
There's a
And you
lot
look
of
at
blue bubbles.
all the stuff he's done. So he's an influential and important person in that regard.
Yes, but the most in history, like that's
He's up there.
That's a big, yeah.
I think Edison is definitely
I think Edison's got to be up there. He's
have
got
to-
to be top 10.
in
He's
that
gotta be top
regard.
10.
Do you have to say Ben Franklin because of the not only the political aspects he had, but the scientific aspects he had, and the fact that he was able to reach people that way
See,
with his literary.
I think that Ben Franklin, if you're talking about American history, I might even put Ben Franklin up there. I mean, him, Washington, and Hamilton are going to be my top three on that. I know TJ is going to be in your top
Absolutely.
three. You'll take Hamilton out for Thomas Jefferson. You're wrong, but it's a debate for another time. But Ben Franklin, it's interesting you mentioned that because he did have so many different aspects. He had the political, he had the literary, he had the scientific. Again, though, the key on the kite with the lightning strike, that's the same thing as the apple falling on Isaac Newton's head.
No, that's very different.
Is it though?
He put the key on to show the electricity. It was proving a point.
Okay, no, fair.
The apple didn't fall.
Fair.
Just because he was proving a point sitting under an apple tree.
Fair.
The difference of Ben Franklin was he was international. His work in France was critical. His work in England was critical.
Yes.
Probably, the first worldwide celebrity of his era.
I'd give you that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because he was. I mean, was he was a diplomat of sorts? Was he like the consulate? What was he?
I think he was the
ambassador.
ambassador to
He was the
France.
ambassador to
Yeah.
France. I mean, he invented the bifocal, I think, too.
He did.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a bit, especially as you get older.
I would be lost without him right now.
Yeah. So where am I?
So I think-
need my Ben Franklins. They should call them the Franklins.
So we have
that'd be it.
Franklin,
Franklin's up there.
Edison.
Edison's up there.
I think those two belong in the top 5. I think Jesus.
I'd go Muhammad before I went Jesus.
They're two great choices.
But Muhammad, we know existed in the capacity that he is historically documented. Because that was what, 500-600 AD time frame ish versus
Muhammad.
Yeah. So like versus Jesus,
little
bit less
based
documented
on Jesus.
BCE, as some would call it.
Yeah.
The CE, Common Era. I would probably say Muhammad over Jesus.
It's one or the other. We can flip a coin. I think it's going to be close.
You can, yeah.
I think
I'll tell you this. You know what? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to say that. This is a. We are being smart
family
today.
friendly show.
We are being smart today. Okay, this is an intellectual.
We were until you were giving signs talking about Hitler.
This is the bar is low. Excuse me, cow milker. This is the bar is low's most intellectual conversation we've ever had.
This is up there.
This is up there.
Nice job, Peter.
The bar is so high because of Peter.
Well done, Peter.
Yeah,
You raised the bar.
You know what?
What?
Thank you.
Golf clap.
Thank you.
Golf clap.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Yeah, good.
Henry Ford.
Yes, that's a good one.
It's a massive impact.
That's a very good one. Yeah. Although, I mean, it's so funny because who invented the steam locomotive? Because I would if you're talking about forms of transportation.
Well, all of that comes back to like an
kinda-
Eli Whitney with the cotton gin,
Sure.
right? So there's so many different inventors you could pick from. Da Vinci we didn't even mention.
Well, it's funny. I was gonna say Da Vinci when you mentioned Ben Franklin because Da Vinci, artist, scholar, inventor.
Yeah.
I mean, he theoretically invented flight, his flying machine.
Correct. Although I don't
Theoretically-
think it was ever put to the test. Like we should have one of the Wright brothers on the list.
Yeah.
Can't have two. I mean, there's only 5 spots. You
But
can't.
yeah, exactly. Is that what we're doing here? Top 5?
Top
We're
5
doing
is what
top
he asked
5?
for, right?
Did he?
Yeah.
He gave us his top 5.
He says top 5.
Okay.
So to me, I'm sorry, Peter. While it's a great question, Oppenheimer doesn't make the list.
the
So many more influential people.
yes, although without nuclear fission or fusion for that matter, everything happening in space would not be happening really. I mean, every satellite that's going up there is nuclear powered. Just nuclear power in and of itself is a huge influence.
So of those people we mentioned, whose place does he take?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying because we were saying influence on the world.
Right.
Those 2 bombs dropped on Japan influenced history pretty greatly.
So he's definitely maybe
He's on the Hitler list.
he is on the. He's not on the good guy list.
He's
yeah.
on the Hitler list. Well,
Yeah.
we'll put,
I mean, what about like Marie Curie? And these great scientists who help save lives.
yeah. Helen Keller's not on the list. I'm
Louis
sorry.
Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur is a good one.
That's
okay,
a good one to pull out of nowhere.
That's a really good
And
one.
for the record, I want people to know that as we're doing this, I have not heard that question.
no,
There's no research involved to this.
Well,
There's no let's sit back and go. This is just us riffing.
it's funny because when you say that, I tend to not listen to calls before they come in.
Right.
Well, luckily I opened it up and Peter actually had a second.
Oh,
Or rather, this was his first message. Was just this. So luckily,
well done, Peter.
And he said sorry about the first one.
Okay.
He put it sorry about the first one. He's right there. I gave him a little heart emoji for that one.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
thanks for the
That's
apology.
nice.
But yeah, so I didn't actually listen to this either, and I was so tempted. I'm just like, what's this one going to be all about? There's 2 messages. Let's just see what the first one is. And luckily
Right.
that was it.
Got
So yeah, so we didn't get that. No, I think Louis Pasteur is a really good one actually because I mean. Anything in the realm of fighting bacteria and or infection has to be on the list because let's change it up. Talk about some of the most influential inventions of all time. You've mentioned car. We've mentioned electricity.
Plane.
Antibiotics has to be up there.
Antibiotics, yeah.
Right? Now you got to put Samuel Colt in the list though.
Yeah.
Because I'm just
You do.
Dude,
no, you're not wrong.
If you're
not
mentioning
wrong.
Ford, you got to mention Colt.
Right.
For better or
Right.
worse.
No, you're not wrong.
Nah.
You're not wrong. Critical.
I'm going to make a reel of that and just loop it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Milking cow. Milking cow. And it's just going to repeat, and it's going to repeat, and it's going to repeat. And it's going to be so good. It's going to be our highest engaged reel of all time.
I will bet you that's not true.
It will be after I throw $100 worth of marketing money at it. All right, fine. Yeah, I'll bet you $100 right here.
We can wager without the shake.
I think some of the most influential, right? And now you got to, let's think, I'm political or military. But let's go even way back, because if you're putting Jesus on the list, I'm putting Julius Caesar on the list. Or Alexander the Great, if you want to go Greek. I love feta cheese. So let's go Alexander the Great. Okay.
William the Conqueror.
To a lesser degree.
Yeah, I mean,
But yes.
these are all people that need to belong on the list.
Yes.
And it's tough to say important or influential because some of their impact has incredible ripples.
Yes.
That we're never going to be able to know exactly how many lives those individuals have touched. The Caesar question really calls into how impressive was he. I mean, obviously him being killed is a big part of that too.
Well, yes, and then the whole line of succession thereafter.
You've also
but just the Roman Empire in general.
You've got Plato, you've got Aristotle, you've got amazing minds that are there who influenced a lot of things too.
Yes, but I mean...
You've got Dewey, who made the Dewey Decimal System. I mean, this is all critical stuff that we needed.
The Dewey Decimal System, you got to pump the brakes on that one. Like, I could go out here, I'll raise you Abner Doubleday. Way more influential.
Well, you're right.
At least for this show.
We're throwing names out there.
At least for this show. But I think Caesar has got to be up there because of the sheer reach of his influence, especially at the time, before any sort of automated transportation.
Yeah.
You got an empire going all the way from, like, Turkey to France.
It was massive.
What is that?
Massive.
That's huge. So I would give it to Julius Caesar before I gave it to Alexander the Great. Although I'll tell you, I love feta cheese. I had an omelet with feta cheese yesterday and today, and I'm only talking about food because we have to for Ron.
Right.
Yeah.
Ron loves our food segment.
Yeah.
Is there music for the food segment? No. Okay.
No.
I tried.
See, that's the kind of thing we need to prepare ahead of time. I mean, I can give you some music. Yeah, there you go. That's the music for your segment.
I earned that.
Yay. But, in the same vein as those guys, are we going to put, I mean, I would say Lenin has had one of the biggest influences worldwide and history versus most other world leaders. Because, I mean, just or you know what, I might not even go there. I might even go Karl Marx before I go Lenin. I would go Karl Marx before Lenin. But you see what I'm saying? Because that communism thing, it kind of took hold and it changed a lot of things.
I think this question, although Peter was well-intended with this question,
yes,
is just too broad to give an answer. If you could say top 5 scientists, top 5 political activists, top 5 musicians who've changed the course of that's an easier discussion.
It is, but
then
that
we
wasn't the
become a
question.
top 5 show.
But that wasn't the question.
I'm saying that for future reference, Peter.
Damn it.
What are you swearing about?
I don't know.
For future reference, that if you narrow it down a little bit, give us a little something extra to play with.
Yeah.
That would be better to narrow in where you're going here.
Sure.
Because influential people, I mean, be very clear. My father. I'm making the list.
We're not talking about personal influence here.
But it doesn't say that.
We're not talking.
Right?
In the history of the world is the question.
History of the world. My history of the world started 52 years ago.
Okay. I'll raise you not your father. Any of these other people who we named.
I'm just saying.
I have to.
What I'm saying is it's a wide.
I know what you're saying,
scope.
but you understand the question.
Of course I do.
You understand the question.
And I've given some solid answers.
You have. Elvis and the Beatles.
Massive.
We should talk about them.
Changed the game. When you said Lennon, I was like, is he going to go with John?
No.
And you didn't.
I didn't. But I could have. But I didn't.
Look at the history of film.
Yeah. There's but again, I mean, these are people who influence not the course of human events, not the course of mankind.
You can't question the arts in that regard, though.
No.
Beethoven has a massive impact on everyone.
Yes.
Right?
And I think the older folk. Okay. So to that vein, if you were going top 5, then you include Shakespeare or your list is Bupkis.
Right.
Shakespeare is up there.
Noah Webster's got to be up there because you have no words without him.
I don't know if that's entirely true.
That was fun for me.
Yeah. So was milking that cow.
Got all the words.
I'm sure.
The milking the cow wasn't really that fun. It was just trying things.
It was just a thing. Anyway, all right. Well, that was a great question. I think it was good. I don't know if we. You know what's gonna happen is just throughout like this show, we're just gonna come up with just different names. Like we forgot. You know, we're gonna be like, all right, let's make some fart jokes. Oh, JFK. You know, who we didn't mention.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Rightfully, but
No, JFK is not on the list.
he's not on the list.
He's not on the list. See, that's the thing. Okay.
Even if you were to say musicians,
Is it
right?
Is it JFK or is it the guy who killed JFK that was more influential in history? Who is it? Is it Lee Harvey Oswald? Or is it John F. Kennedy?
Was it the person who worked with Lee Harvey Oswald?
J. Edgar Hoover, actually.
Wow.
He had the assist on that one.
That's a bold statement to make on our show.
And he was wearing a dress at the time, which is
Likely.
Just,
Which is likely.
Well, he's got to be on the list. J. Edgar Hoover's somewhere
He's ahead
on
of
the
his time.
list. He was something. He's probably top 200. I'd say he's probably in the top 200s.
I'm just saying when you were talking about the impact of arts, you can't really say that. Where Picasso may have had an impact on.
Sure. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So when you're talking about, you mentioned.
That's why we need to isolate. And
Okay,
bucket these.
so you mentioned film. Is the answer D.W. Griffith or is the answer Steven Spielberg? Because I would probably argue D.W. Griffith. Do you know who D.W. Griffith is?
Was he the first?
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
I know the name. I mean, there's how many, and you can say people today, like you said, Spielberg has a massive impact on film.
On film, yes.
So
Not in the course of human events.
no, but if let's take it to film for a second. Okay, your top 5,
Sure. Influential though.
That's
so,
where I was
So you
going
got
more
D.W.
so.
Griffith, right?
right?
You got Orson Welles.
Orson Welles has to be mentioned in there.
I would probably put Alfred Hitchcock in there. I would. I want to say like Spielberg and Lucas. You can put them together. You can't list all the directors. Stanley Kubrick. Like there's so many of them.
Right.
But I would say John Williams
Great answer.
because
Great
without
answer. Without his sound.
scoring,
Yeah.
it's like you got nothing. And he did some of the best scores out there.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So I think let's that's the answer. If you're Orson Welles stands alone, D.W. Griffith stands alone. I could go out there and start listing a bunch of directors who have influenced, but I think I would probably say that Lucas has some of the most influence only because in the way that he approached making movies, his approach. I mean, Stanley Kubrick. Kevin Smith. I said Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick, Kevin Smith. I mean Spielberg obviously for epics. It's really
Tarantino
it's really tough.
in the way that he took everything from before to. What I love about Tarantino is he was such a student of film
Yes.
that he just picked up pieces of things he liked along the way and then here.
Yeah. So see, that's why I don't want to go down like again. Okay, we're like we go from most influential of all time to most in film, and then you can silo that into just directors only.
Yeah.
And even that is
Well, I mean,
is tough.
I mentioned him because he was a writer and director too.
Yes.
He's a grab the whole matzo ball himself.
Yes.
This is me. I've got this. This is what I want to do.
Right.
I want to make a film.
But Kubrick the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's so funny because like you can't look at. Obviously, you have to look at their whole body of work.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's about the earlier works, right? Like THX.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that
Lucas, yeah.
before Star Wars, like or with Kubrick, a lot of the earlier on stuff. I mean, Clockwork Orange is absolutely amazing. It's difficult to watch at
It
times,
is, yeah.
absolutely, but it's so good.
Right.
My goodness,
Right.
the Doctor Strangelove,
Right.
so good. So I think a lot of those really kind of have a lot more influence than when you have a major studio picture and all the money in the world, what you can do with that.
I just saw last couple of days. I saw a list, top 10 actors of 2023.
Oh,
that somebody put out. Right.
okay.
7 of the top 10 actors were from superhero movies. And it's just there's a kind of a direction we're going here, and it doesn't mean you can't. I think comic books are some of the greatest literature we've had. They take some of the greatest stories and put them together anyway. We all grew up with them, and takes my nostalgia and puts it on the screen, which again we've discussed how much I love.
Graphic novels are a huge thing.
Absolutely,
right? I mean, Sin City was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Great movie.
A graphic novel on film.
Great
is
movie.
what they did there. Yeah.
So it was just funny to look at the list, and the list. I mean, some of them are a little bit of a stretch to say they're superhero kind of thing. Like they had, I counted Brad Pitt as being a superhero guy, even though he very small role as superhero. But how many of these people played superheroes? But down like 8 or 9 on the list was Tom Hanks and Adam Sandler. I don't know how Tom Hanks doesn't belong at number 1. Pretty much
always.
Yeah.
I mean, it maybe it depends on the role, right? I mean, Adam Sandler, was that for Leo? Is that what he made it
probably
there for?
It was last year, so it had to be Leo,
yeah. So it's like, I mean, and that's it's you know, it's really tough when you say, because a lot of these superheroes, right, acting in front of nothing but a green screen, when there's lights and cameras in your face on this side, and then there's no background, and you're interacting with a guy with like doing this, but there's actually supposed to be like a dragon or a real character. Like, that is beyond difficult. That is so hard. So to say just because they're a superhero,
no, I'm saying that's
but
the
some people
genre we're going to. Like,
right?
The whole world is leaning more toward more superhero movies. That's where we see, like,
well, that's where the money is.
There used to be a lot more.
That's where the money is.
I don't mean for this to come across wrong as we're going into Oscar season here or anything, but there used to be a lot more Oppenheimer type films out there.
Yes.
Now it's short attention span, boom boom, zap zap. Have to have that. Throw in some good actors with it, and it's amazing how that turns. Like the Marvel Universe has amazing actors.
Yeah, but it's always been that way. There's always been the big blockbusters, and then there's always been the artsy films, and there's been the bigger dramas.
But now the
big
blockbusters are all primarily Marvel, DC. That's where the big blockbusters go in the last several years.
Yeah.
I think we're missing some of the art that's there. We're missing some of those.
Well, what we're
blockbuster art films. So put it that way.
What we're missing is Batman movies being done the way Batman movies were done, because Tim Burton's Batman movies are my favorite.
Yeah.
Right. I think Batman Returns over Batman. I like Batman Returns better.
Batman Returns, is that the Penguin?
That's Penguin, Catwoman.
Yeah. Got it.
Christopher Walken.
Right.
Michael Keaton's still there.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Schwarzenegger version, Mr. Freeze.
Was that was Batman Forever?
I think so.
So that was the one with the with Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones? No. Two-Face was with the Riddler.
Right.
That was Batman Forever.
That was Batman
So Mr.
Forever.
Freeze was the 4th one, Batman and Robin.
Okay. That wasn't that good.
No. That was with
they tried to go
Poison
campy.
Ivy.
Yeah, they tried to go campy. That didn't work.
See, it's because it was so successful when Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
He was amazing.
He was amazing as the Riddler, but he was the Riddler, and that is the Riddler. But like whatever stupid, there was a really stupid line that Arnold Schwarzenegger had in there as Mr. Freeze.
Everybody chill out.
Was that it?
Was that it?
There was something like that.
They were all puns to freeze cold.
Yeah. But I prefer.
Time for you to cool off.
Time to milk a cow.
We will be milking the cow.
So that's the thing, though, with like the Batman franchise. I liked more when it was dark like that, and I mean
Burton's was darker. Yeah,
they started to, but you know what? But it was dark, but still had a little of that campiness, a la the comic books, and even a little bit a la the Adam West. I mean, not nearly to the level of that, because that shark repellent spray was, but you know.
But in all sincerity, Jack Nicholson gave a lot of homage, right, to Cesar Romero.
Sure, yes.
And in that portrayal of the Joker was more along that line. Compare that to Heath Ledger's Joker. Drastic change in interpretation of the character.
Drastic change. I think if I'm going to take any of the Jokers, and I was getting to that some of the newer Batman movies have gotten back to that more dark, industrial vibe. Like I kind of liked having the Batmobile be closer to a tank than a Corvette. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because if you are a scientist in your lair, you building a Corvette or you building a tank? I just
pretty cool. Corvette was pretty cool.
It was cool. It was cool. I don't know what that nipple was in the front. There was always that nipple in the front.
Just artistic expression.
I guess so. And that's why they put nipples on the bat suit eventually.
And then they went away because that was silly.
I mean, yeah, Clooney's nipples. I mean,
Nobody needed that.
I know a few people who needed that. Women.
They needed that?
Yeah. They weren't watching Batman.
All right.
They were watching Clooney and his nips.
Anyway.
That's why they watched ER. Actually, no, ER was a great show without
ER was a great show.
Just in general. But yeah, back to the Joker, the portrayal of Joker. I loved what Heath Ledger did. And I love what Jack Nicholson did. Very different portrayals of the character. I think Heath Ledger's worked for the vibe of that film. Absolutely.
100%. It went darker there as well.
Yeah.
So I think they went back to the darkness because that's where Batman kind of lives.
And then you know, to the way that Jack Nicholson was more of an homage to that, right? Then when you had the Joker come out, right? Joaquin Phoenix was a little bit closer to that Heath Ledger. Although if we're ranking Jokers, he's on the bottom of my list.
I feel the same way.
Actually, no.
It's a different story, though.
He's not on the bottom of my list.
Who's your worst Joker?
Jared Leto, on the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I agree. So who's your number one?
Jack.
Jack's your number one.
Jack's my number one.
Followed by?
Heath Ledger.
These are all the Jokers of all time?
Yes.
Okay. Followed by?
Mustachio.
Mustachio?
Well, he had a mustache on the original.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cesar Romero.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Mustachio.
Okay.
Then Joaquin Phoenix, and then Jared Leto.
Okay. I'm just gonna stick Mark Hamill in there as an honorable mention.
Oh, from the animated series.
Spot,
from the animated series. Yeah. Because
nothing, and it's tough because I think Ledger crushed it.
Yeah.
In a different angle. I put Jack number one for me.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with Cesar Romero, and that was an awesome transition. It wasn't too much. It wasn't overdone. It was here he is.
But if you think of it this way,
Jack is just Jack.
If you think of it this way, though, and I love the suave, Mark Hamill is actually a decent transition between Jack Nicholson. I was going back to the golf conversation from the last episode between Jack Nicholson.
You're still stuck on the nipples of the suit. It's
Jack
not
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. It's not.
All right. So, but Mark Hamill, between Jack and Heath Ledger, he's kind of, because he had a little of that suave, but also some of that craziness.
A lot of the craziness.
So I kind of, there actually was a little bit of a stepping stone there
right.
if you're taking all of that into consideration.
It's tough. It's tough comparing artists, really, is what you're doing at that point.
Yes.
Which is really tough.
See, now we're doing top fives again. Who are your most influential Jokers?
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Peter, you got to break it down a little more for us, because even then we have a tough time.
Yeah.
I just watched The Dark Knight the other day.
Yes.
It was on. I was flipping through at night, and I'm like, "Oh, Dark Knight, this is cool. I'll watch that." And just watching Heath Ledger again, just crush it in every aspect of how he takes on that character.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He's just so good.
He was great.
It's tough to put anyone above him.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I put Jack above him is because of the nostalgia.
Yeah, but I just his performance was just brilliant. It was.
That's when Jack was still Jack.
Yeah, it was. But it was like the perfect, the perfect combination. See, when he would put the makeup on and like act human and whatnot, like he was still able to portray like that facade, but the craziness of the joke. Like when Heath Ledger had the makeup on, it didn't work, and that's partially because of the makeup, because he had the Chelsea grin,
right,
that was cut into his face. Oh, that's a lot about Batman.
Just like we talked about in the first show.
Exactly.
We love Batman.
Exactly.
We love Batman. We love
going.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Here's your top five. We'll take Kevin Smith off the table because, Kevin, we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Top five, and this is probably getting close to ending with this on the show.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Top five guests you would like us to have on this show in a dream world. if it were no question and our phone would ring from any people, who would be your top 5?
Well, we've already established Kevin Smith is
Kevin
on
Smith's
there,
off
so
the table.
He's off the table.
He's number
Okay.
1
Okay.
by himself. Kevin Smith, we'd love to have you on the show. Please come. Please. One time.
I would have to say Shatner. I would say Shatner is probably my number 1.
Wow.
I would love to have William Shatner on here. I would love.
Would he answer all the questions, though?
Yes.
Would he get into his voice?
That's just stick with Picard. That was
Yeah, that was terrible. But
Shatner.
Still one of my favorite things of all time is Shatner doing his talking to a Comic-Con.
That was good.
That's one of the best. If you haven't
that's
seen
great.
that sketch, if you haven't seen that sketch,
Yeah.
watch that.
So good,
Why don't
so
you get a life?
I love that. That was so good. Yeah, so Shatner, we're talking about living.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone we could actually.
This isn't a hypothetical.
If someone were
Yeah.
watching this and then go, "Wow, you're listening to the top 5."
Yeah. It's got to be Shatner's my number 1.
You don't have to order it in order 'em.
I just did. He's 1.
You don't have to.
Shatner's 1.
You just say 5 people you would love to have on this show if odds were to be there.
Yeah, so Shatner.
Coming into spring, time here, pitchers and catchers have reported.
Oh, I was actually going to say my number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say I would love if we could somehow, in some way, get Turk Wendell to call this show.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Turk,
legendary in his own right, and your favorite ball player of all time?
he's up there.
Up there?
It's tough to name one.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Okay. So
But
there you go.
his slider was dirty, was nasty.
Yeah.
But he was such a superstitious player, and a great, just great personality for the game.
Great presence.
Great presence on the mound.
Great necklace.
Well, the turkey claws were.
Can't beat it.
They were all from turkeys that he took out himself.
Yeah.
And they had healing power. So when we played our tournaments up in Pittsfield, we used to go to his parents' house. We were Turk's Traveling All-Stars.
Yes.
Named after Bingo Long's Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings.
Yes.
We became Turk's Traveling All-Stars and brought his parents a shirt every time we went up there.
Yes.
And then at one point I wore one in front of him for an autograph signing. And he said, "That's a great shirt. Where do I get one?" I said, "Talk to your parents more. They have them."
So that all right. So that's Turk. I like.
Well, that's
that. See,
Turk. I think Turk can be a great call.
in the baseball, because obviously one of my top 5 is going to be baseball.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
where do you think I'm going, by the way? with
Nomar.
this? No.
No Nomar.
I love Nomar. No.
You wouldn't want Nomar on the show.
I would love Nomar on the show, but that's not where I was going. I would love anybody who's ever donned a Red Sox uniform on this show.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I going to pick somebody who's a Red Sox? You're not going to give me an answer on that. You won't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
You're not going to say it at all?
Oh, I'm going to say who it is.
Okay.
Just guess it. You know
Is it
who
Petey?
No.
Is it Pedro?
No.
No.
No. Petey should be on the show, though. He's great.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I bumped into him in a drunken stupor
Ask him.
one night.
Ask him to be on the show.
Please, Petey, be on the show. Here's a picture of you and me together, smiling. There you go.
It's amazing how you just did that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
Well,
enjoyed that.
see, and now here's the thing: if you're listening and not watching, you missed the joke.
Yeah.
Don't tell him what the joke was.
I won't.
Don't tell him what the joke
Won't
was.
say a thing.
Tito Francona. That's who I want on the show.
Tito.
I want Tito on the show.
Because of the Savannah connection.
Savannah connection. Managed the Red Sox team that broke the curse. Did quite well in Cleveland. I think player, manager, brilliant baseball mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be a great conversation. Tito Francona.
I agree with you that there's anyone who's ever put on a Cubs uniform I'd love to have as well. I think any baseball player, you and I would have a field day talking baseball player.
We're saying player.
Player, manager.
Because I know a guy wearing a Cubs hat that you don't want on the show.
Oh, no. I don't think he wears that hat anymore.
No,
And we don't say his name.
I don't think we do. All right, so who's your number 2 then?
Probably the namesake to the show.
Bill Buckby?
That's not on the show.
Bar Lewis? I don't even. Who's Bar Lewis?
What is my nickname?
Who is Bar Lewis? You want Mo Vaughn on the show?
I do want Mo Vaughn on the show.
I mean, that would be great.
Mo Vaughn.
Are you just gonna?
It's ideal.
Are you just gonna list baseball?
Well, those are my two of my 5.
Okay.
I would say those are 2 of my 5.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Mo Vaughn would be fantastic. I think he hit the first home run I ever saw in person. I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was in like 93, 94. It was the California Angels at the time at Fenway, and the Rocket started that game.
Wow.
and Mo Vaughn hit a home run. And my mom got food poisoning.
Wow.
Yeah, she was taken out of Fenway by hospital. Or by ambulance.
How do you get out of the stadium by hospital?
They took her to the hospital, but in the interim, they took her down to like the where players go when they're injured to the physio office, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And it was funny because there was a player getting treated, and then here's my mom puking up her clam chowder or whatever.
Lovely.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's great. Thanks for the visual.
Yeah.
Add one more to the list.
Okay. Yeah, we said we're gonna do 5 each, right? I would probably put Adam Sandler on that top 5. I think I would. I mean, and we've discussed this, best SNL cast of all time. That early 90s, I think.
Your hands down favorite. Not mine, but
well, you're older.
I'm older. Yeah.
You're older. So, you like the older generation.
That's why it's either Bill Murray or Chevy Chase for me. That's the toughest thing I'm having trouble with. I think I'd want Bill Murray to come on more so. But I love them both so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have them both on because you got 3 more slots.
They wouldn't get along. Have them on together.
No, have them on different episodes. have them on different shows.
All right.
Okay. So it's back to me already.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom Hanks should be on the show.
Tom Hanks would be amazing.
Tom Hanks, I think, would be just spectacular.
It's just you want someone who's going to... He has that... Every interview you see him in, he's engaged. He's having fun. He's enjoying it.
Yeah.
He's a part of the whole thing. And I think that's huge. You know who I would say is... Because I really didn't pick, but we'll go with one or the other. It doesn't matter before.
Yep.
I think I would like to have... wow. Dad.
All right. Well, let me tell you. So who I would have, it would be an intellectual conversation, yet also the most fun conversation you could have.
Okay.
Stephen Colbert. I would love to have, or even Jon Stewart, or both at the same time.
You have connections to Colbert. Get him on the show.
And Jon Stewart.
Do it.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna though.
Why not?
Because the bar is really, really low here. But yeah, I think that would be great. Because I mean, not only, and we'll talk Colbert and Stewart, lump them together. Not only are they very funny, they're also very smart. And I think that we could have some great conversation, not even politically. And Colbert is not really in the political realm so much anymore. I mean, he's late night TV,
to
which
a degree,
they all take jabs all over the place. Jon Stewart, just all bets are off. I mean, when he just returned to the Daily Show,
love it.
Oh my God, did you watch that?
No, I heard everything about people are going nuts for it already.
Oh, it was fantastic. Nobody is safe when Jon Stewart's back, and that's why I think he was the best. I mean, granted, I've only seen 3 hosts of the Daily Show.
Right.
But Jon Stewart is number 1 out of my top 5 in those 3 hosts.
Here we go with top 5.
So there you go.
I would like to see. There's been somebody. I don't know. I have a routine in my evening, and I usually when I get to bed, I put on a YouTube.
It's the most appropriate use of that sound in the history.
Now
of the
I
show.
can't say what I was going to say.
Okay, go.
Before I go to sleep at night, I need to be watching something, listening to something to quiet me out. So I was going to YouTube, and usually it's either a rainstorm or I'll put on an interview with something I really want to listen to, and then I fall asleep listening to it.
Yeah.
But every single time, and this is the algorithm caught up at some point and caught that I would click on it every time because I think it's one of the best real person celebrity personalities that is out there.
Yeah.
Is Emily Blunt.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Every time, it seems like every single night, I open up YouTube and it's Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is one of the reels, one of the quick ones. I'm like, I have to watch that. Okay, I'll watch one Emily Blunt tonight before I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Her and John Krasinski together on the show would be a phenomenal show.
It would be, and it's funny you mention that because now I've done top 5. I want to keep on going.
Right,
Rainn Wilson needs to be on the show.
Oh,
Rainn Wilson would be the best.
Look, we would love any and all Office cast members.
Yeah, but he's number 1 in my top 5 of Office members I would want on the show. Yeah,
he's number 1.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson number 1. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I can pick a number 1. Brian Baumgartner would be fantastic on the show.
Oh my God, he would be just amazing. Yeah, They would all be good.
They'd all be great.
Yeah.
Every one of them would be fantastic.
I mean,
Toby.
no, that would be fun.
Just making that having a little fun there.
That'd be fun, yeah.
You ruined my joke. That's okay.
Yeah, I did. Well, it was a bad one to begin with. But hey, great show.
Great show.
I'm
Good to be back.
super happy. Peter, thank you for your question.
It took off everything else we were going to talk about today, but we went with Peter's, and it made for a show.
I have a whole list of things I need to talk to you about.
Oh.
But it's not going to happen today.
Okay.
Because we're at the end of the show.
Penicillin, that's what I recommend.
For what?
There's a lot of things you got to talk to me about. Start there.
Okay. Yay!